The reason for people is to care about the thing that it will not benefit them in the akhirah, which is you care about worldly matters, pure worldly matters, will not benefit you anything in the akhirah. It's because you're so attached to the dunya. You love it so much. You love just the concept of fulfilling your desire so much. That's why zuhd became irrelevant or something hard for you to practice or for us to understand and a concept to grasp. Not even talking about practicing it in our life. And this hadith shows that the heart should be attached to the akhirah. And the dunya is so short that you don't even have that, long hope or planning to live for long. That's why he said, in the night, don't expect the morning. And in the morning, don't expect the night, as if you're going to die before that. Are you ready? Getting ready for leaving the dunya. And if this is the case, you're not going to be attached to it. You live in it as if you are a stranger or a traveler. When a stranger and traveler, you don't care much about the dunya. You don't care much about the thing that you pass by. Like for instance, if you are a traveler, and I give you a best example I can think of right now. When you travel and you check in a hotel, MashaAllah, nice hotel, you enjoy the bed, the scene, maybe the pool that attached to or in the hotel, and the garden and all the thing with it. But you know this is not your home. You know that you're going to check out in a day or two or after the weekend is over. You know for sure this is not a place where I saw. You don't go and buy furniture and put it and invest in that room because you're going to leave it soon. So in other words, this dunya is like that. You're just passing by. That's why it's been said that Isa alayhi salam قال اعبروها ولا تعمروها. You passing by this dunya. You're not living forever in it. You're not settling here. This is not where the place where you're going to be settling. And the more you can realize this fact, even though theoretically we all know that we're going to leave this dunya. Theoretically we are. But sometimes we're not in rest with ourselves about this fact. And the more you convince yourself, the more you see this as reality, as this is what it is, the less, attachment you will be to it, or to the dunya, or to this worldly life. And you will find that life, you look at it from a completely different perspective. You will see that life will be, under your feet, not above your head. Not just covering your eyes, but it is in your hand, you control it. Because it's not your main goal in this life. So this hadith is about, in the stranger and traveler, only take with them the thing that is necessarily, that important for their journey. That is also, this hadith, apply this to the dunya. You in this dunya as a traveler, you take from this dunya what you needed for your journey. So whatever you need in your journey, that's what you take. And your journey is وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Make sure that you have provision for your journey to Allah, and the best provision is at-taqwa. It was giving an example by Al-Ghazali that this dunya is like a beautiful island. People on the ship stopped by the island, and the captain said, you go to this island, and soon I will call every one of you back to the ship to leave. The rest will be left in that uninhabited island. So there is a lot of people got off the boat, went to this island, but they have different way of reacting to that period of time that we're giving on the island. Some of them start collecting water and the food that it is easy to carry, very nutritious, and other people start collecting things that's not beneficial. In my own words, I will say, start collecting souvenirs and sand in a bottle, flowers and stuff like that, taking pictures and selfies, laying down, sleeping, and wasted their time. Other people got stuff, but some beneficial things, but others did not. Some people got things that is beneficial but can cause harm and is not very suitable for traveling and can, hurt your stomach and so forth. And the captain said, everybody off the island. And that captain represents the angel of death. Off the island, off this dunya. And now, when you go in your grave and your journey to the akhirah, to the next life, what will benefit you is the good deeds. What will benefit you if you collect all these things that it will not benefit you in the akhirah? That's why az-zuhd is to care less about the things that it will not benefit you in the akhirah. And you care more about the thing that will benefit you in the akhirah. And we can see now why this hadith is so relevant to the concept that we're talking about. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أخذ بمنكبي, my shoulders. Okay, in some narration, my shoulders both, and some بمنكبي, my shoulder. So from one side only. And this is something that it is done to make the person pay attention. So you do this for someone, so that person will pay attention to you. You you put your hand on somebody's shoulder, or you touch them. This physical touch make the person remember even the story. Remember when you held my hand, when you held my shoulder, when you pick me up, when you wipe over somebody's head. Things like this will be always remembered. That's why Sahaba radiallahu anhum always remember that. In Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wiped over my head. He held my hand and he didn't let it go until, I let it go first, until we arrived the house. Like Anas radiallahu anh said once when he walked to his house with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam holding his hand. Or in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam will basically wipe over somebody's chest, okay, or shoulder. These physical touch showing love, and also in the case of story of Ibn Umar here, for him to pay attention to what is coming. قال عش في الدنيا كأنك غريب. Stranger, not stranger like weird, no. Stranger like traveler, or someone who is not from this country, not from this region, not from this area. That's what meant by stranger. أو عابر سبيل, the one who passing by, the traveler. Okay. Ibn Umar radiallahu anh, after this hadith, used to say what you heard me saying, which is, if you in the morning don't expect the night, and if in the night don't expect the morning, and take from your health for your sickness, and from your life to your death. He used to say that. What lessons can be learned from this hadith? Number one, this hadith is establishing a very important concept in Islam, which is قصر الأمل, which is you don't have a long or a big hope in living very long in this life. And this maybe sounds a little bit strange for some people. People by nature expecting to live very long. That's how human beings naturally is. And that's understandable. That the person kind of want to live forever. يود أحدهم لو يعمر ألف سنة وما هو بمزحزحه من العذاب أن يعمر. One of them would wish to live 1,000 years. It wouldn't help you even if you live that long. To live is not is a natural thing. That's why when Musa alayhi salam want to live longer, okay, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, how long you want to live longer? See, so even that's a prophet, a messenger in the story when the angel of death told him, put your right hand in the back of a ball, and whatever hair stick in your hand, you will live that many years. Then Musa said, and after that, he said, you will die. Then he said, so it's the same, not really a big difference. if this is the case. But I would like to die, at least I want to die where I am near Jerusalem, where I can see this promised land of Bani Israel, that his whole life was struggling to take them out from Egypt to deliver them to the promised land. He said, at least let me be able to see it. And he died not far away from it, but before entering Jerusalem, salawatu rabbi wa salamuhu alayh. You see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called that this is musibatul maut. In the authentic hadith في البخاري or في الصحيح, that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وما ترد, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وما ترددت عن شيء أنا فاعله ترددي عن قبض عبدي المؤمن يكره الموت وأنا أكره مساءته. I never hesitate to do anything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, okay, except hesitating to take away or take the soul of my servant who hates death, and I hate to make him experience something that he doesn't like. So, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I never hesitate to do anything, hesitation, if it is out of the lack of knowledge or out of fear of the outcome, that is a negative description, and that's not what is meant in this hadith. But if the hesitation, the cause for it, is the love and the mercy for someone, that's beauty and that's perfections, and that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala meant when He said that, because He doesn't want His servant to experience something that He hates, that servant. So anyway, so that shows you that death is something disliked. So the point here is not about, it's a natural that we love to live and we want to live. But here, what the ulama rahimahullah talking about is when you have a plan to live very long, and that hope and that expectation will lead you to what? Not to do much of the good deeds, and to delay your tawbah, and to delay the good deeds. Because you say, oh, I still have time in front of me. Oh, inshallah, I will make Hajj, 2 years from now or 5 years from now. Oh, I will hijab when I'm in my 40s. Oh, you know what, I will do this later on. As if you're expecting to live that long. And that leads people not to be hastened to do the good deeds or to rush to the tawbah. That's the amal, that's the hope that is criticized in the Quran. That's the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala criticized in Surah Al-Hijr when He described the disbeliever. ربما يود الذين كفروا لو كانوا مسلمين ذرهم يأكلوا ويتمتعوا ويلههم الأمل فسوف يعلمون. يلههم الأمل. Let them eat and enjoy this life, and let them deceive by that long hope or that big hope that they have to live very long life. Al-Qurtubi rahimahullah commented this, قال يلههم الأمل يشغلهم عن الطاعة. Qurtubi said that it will distract them from good deeds. And Ibn Hajar rahimahullah made a very good point when he said, وفي الأمل سر لطيف. Hope, the hope to live long or to live long life, something that you have to pay attention to it, he's saying, Ibn Hajar. قال لولا الأمل ما تهنى أحد بعيش ولا طابت نفس. If wasn't for that hope to live long, nobody will enjoy life. And if I know I'm dying tomorrow, can you imagine, can you compare your regular days like the days of someone, the doctor tell him you will die in 7 days or 7 weeks. Or you get infected and you have 2 days to live or 3 days to live. You get poisoned and you have hours to live. No doubt these hours that the person will be living, it's not going to be, there's no enjoyment in it. ولا طابت نفسه أن يشرع في عمل من أعمال الدنيا. The person cannot do anything in life. And that's not what Islam wants from us. So what do we mean when we say don't have that big hope in a long life, we mean by that هو الاسترسال فيه وعدم الاستعداد لأمر الآخرة. He said, Ibn Hajar said, when the person will think that he will live and never think about death, never think about the end of it, and that lead the person to never get ready for the akhirah. فمن سلم من ذلك لم يكلف بإزالته. So if this is not the case, yani you want to live long, but in the same times you want to do more good, and you are preparing yourself for the akhirah, nobody will tell you don't have a long hope of living. لم يكلف بإزالته. سبب طول الأمل الجهل وحب الدنيا. The problem comes when the person have that long hope or a hope to have long life, okay, is the ignorance of the nature of this life and the nature of the akhirah and the attachment to the dunya over the akhirah. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said in the Quran in Surah Al-Hadid, ألم يأن للذين آمنوا أن تخشع قلوبهم لذكر الله وما نزل من الحق ولا يكونوا كالذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبل فطال عليهم الأمد. يعني الأمل هنا والمدة الزمن والزمان. فقست قلوبهم وكثير منهم فاسقون. Surah Al-Hadid verse 16, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us, don't be like the people, some of the people of the book who lived long and basically they expect to live very long. So what happened? Their heart became qasiyah, became hard, not soft. And many of them became fasiqs by doing the haram because they just don't think about the akhirah, they only thinking about this life. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم said, لا يزال قلب الكبير شابا في اثنتين. Even when you, the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم saying, حديث أبو هريرة في البخاري, even when you attain an old age, يعني you grow older, but there is two things in your heart will grow young. حب الدنيا وطول الأمل. The love for the dunya and that hope to live longer. Even though technically, you are 40 years now, 50 years, 60 years, 30 years, you know that you already 30 years closer to your death, but you never think that way. The older you get, the more hope you have, the bigger, as if the dunya is getting, longer for you. And the reality is, the older you get, the dunya getting shorter for you. النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم قال the previous حديث أبي هريرة في البخاري قال هذا الأمل وهذا أجله فبينما هو كذلك إذ جاءه الخط الأقرب. In the hadith in Sahih Muslim and also in Bukhari, النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم draw a square, let's say like a square, and inside that square he draw a line, and that line go out of the square, like a line sticking out like this. Then in the left and the right, he had lines. He said that square is the limit of your life. That's your ajal. That's your lifespan. But your hope or your expectation is to live way there. Much, much longer than what's the reality is, than what has been basically decided for you. That's how human beings are. When death comes, they never think that this is the time. They always thought maybe I should have been lived longer than that. And these things on the right and the left, the lines, are the things that happen to you in this dunya, that one of them eventually will kill you. Diseases, accidents, sickness, whatever it is, one of them in the end will, and it is surrounding you from day one in your life. But as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decide, and where are you going to die? And that line will be cut off. Al-Bukhari reported in his Sahih, mu'allaq, yani without isnad, that Ali radiallahu anh said, and Imam Ahmad reported this with the full isnad in Kitab al-Zuhd. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anh said, "Inna akhaf ma akhafu alaykum thintan." What I fear the most for you is two. Ali now saying, "Ittiba'u al-hawa wa tul al-amal." Following your desires and tul al-amal, that, hope of a very long life, that it will distract you from focus on the akhirah. قال أما الهوى, following the desire, يصدك عن الحق, it will blind you from seeing the truth. وأما طول الأمل يصدك عن الآخرة. As for following or having that hope to live very long, it will blind you from seeing the akhirah, from seeing your death. ألا وإن الدنيا ارتحلت ألا وإن الآخرة ارتحلت مقبلة والدنيا ارتحلت مدبرة. Your akhirah coming to you and your dunya leaving you. You're walking this way. So the akhirah, you coming to the akhirah and the akhirah coming to you, and the dunya behind you and you leaving it. That's every day in your life. A reality. وَلِكُلِّ وَاحِدَةٍ مِّنْهُمَا بَنُونَ. Some people belong to the akhirah and some people belong to the dunya. Their hearts belong to what is in front of them, and some people, their heart just belong to what's behind them. All what they live with memory, all what they attach to this dunya. Be from the children and the people who are attached to the akhirah. Today actions, today deeds, and no judgment. But tomorrow there is a judgment and there is no deeds. رضي الله عن علي وأرضاه. Abu Darda once said, "Ya Ahl Dimashq," and this report by Ibn Aim fil Hilya, قال, "O people of Damascus, أنتم الإخوان في الدين والجيران في الدار والأنصار على الأعداء." You are my brothers in Islam. You are my neighbors. You are the soldiers of Islam against the enemy. ما يمنعكم من مودتي وإنما مؤونتي على غيركم. And I will just pass on because it has a story behind it. He said, "ما لي أرى علماؤكم يذهبون وجهالكم لا يتعلمون." Why I see your scholars dying and your ignorant one not learning. وأراكم قد أقبلتم على ما تكفل لكم به وتركتم ما أمرتم به. You focusing on the thing that Allah promised to provide, but you're not focusing, you're paying attention to the thing that Allah ordered you to seek. You're seeking the thing that will be coming to you anyway, but you're not seeking the things that you only gonna have it if you seek it, if you practice it. ألا إن قوما بنوا مشيدا وجمعوا كثيرا وأملوا بعيدا. There is people we know, they build high-rise buildings, collected so much, and they had hope to live very long life. What they ended up, أصبح بنيانهم قبورا. Their homes became their graves, like the people of Ad and Thamud. وأملهم غرورا. Their hope deceived them. وجمعهم بورا. Whatever they collected, gone. ألا فتعلموا وعلموا. Learn and teach and learn the others. فإن العالم والمتعلم في الأجر سواء. The one who's learning and the one who's teaching are same and equal in reward. ولا خير في الناس بعدهما. There is no good in people after that. كان بعض السلف used to tell his wife, "If I die, wash my so and so wash my body. So and so pray on me." He tell them this in the night. So some of the relatives and heard him, some women overheard him, and then they said, "Did he saw a dream that he's going to die today or he's sick or what?" She said, "No, that's how he is every day. That's how he is every day and every night." Some of them used to say, إذا أردت أن تخشع في صلاتك, if you want to have khushu' in your salah, pray as if it's your last prayer. Bakr ibn Abdullah al-Muzani said, إذا أردت أن تنفعك صلاتك فقل لعلي لا أصلي غيرها. if you want your salah to be good, say to yourself before salah, this is my last salah. That's to cut hope. That's not to see the dunya as very long. That's why when Abu Fayruz, Ma'ruf al-Karhi, when someone asked him to, Ma'ruf al-Karhi said to someone, lead Maghrib. Then he said, no, you lead. He said, no, you do. Then he said, I will lead Maghrib, then you lead Isha. Or Fajr, something like that. Then Ma'ruf al-Karhi told him, if you start your salah and you have that hope that you're going to live until Isha, or you live tomorrow to live Maghrib, you will never perfect your Maghrib prayer. To shorten that hope. That's the point of qisar al-amad, that you don't have that, you sometimes have to tell yourself, what if I die today? What if I die tomorrow? That will rush you to do the right thing, will make you stay away from the haram. What if I die while I'm doing this? See, that's where it helps. It doesn't help, the point is not to think of it this way when it comes to things that are beneficial for you. Like, for example, I tell you, you know what, you need to make sure that you have food for the kids, or salary, or work, so you can provide for a family. Oh, maybe I'll die tomorrow. Yeah, that's not how it works. Finish your homework. What if I die tomorrow? If you die tomorrow, it's okay. Yani, alhamdulillah, ala kulli hal. What are we going to do? But that should not be an excuse for you to stop doing what is good or what is beneficial. The point is to help you, to aid you to do what is right and to abstain from what is wrong. Another point, we took a little bit long on this point. Another point that I want to share is, هذا الحديث obviously tell us about az-zuhd, which is not to focus on the thing that it will not benefit you in the akhirah. It shows you how's your relationship with the dunya should be. It's like that hotel, you check in and you leave. That's it. No attachment. And you know that your heart is attached to the akhirah. And subhanallah, it's like you put the dunya in your hand, not in your heart. You don't allow it to take over your life. And we talked a lot about that before. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said, اجعل المال لك كالحمار تركبه أو كالخلاء تقضي في حاجته. A dunya for you is like a donkey that you ride. You don't let the donkey ride you. You ride the donkey. Or the bathroom. You go and you relieve yourself and you leave. You don't stay there. You're not attached to it. I need it. So the dunya is something that I only deal with it because something I needed. I needed to be able to do the good deeds that will take me to the akhir. But don't make it your main concern, your main goal. This remind me of Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah when he said, "Ad-dunya for the believer is like a traveler, لا يجزع من ذلها ولا ينافس في عزها." The wrong things that happen to you in your traveling should not break you down. And you should not compete over it is wealth and it is honor. You're just a stranger and traveler passing by. Who cares if people don't know who you are? You're just passing by. Because your heart is attached to the akhirah. Imam Ahmad, when he was asked, what is az-zuhd fi dunya? One of his answers called qisar al-amal. So he explained zuhd as you have that, you don't have that hope of living very long life. قال إذا أصبح قال لا أمسي. In the morning, he would think that maybe night will not come to him. That's why the person should take advantage of the situation that he's in. If you are healthy, as you heard him, take advantage of your health for your sickness days. Because some days you will be sick before you get busy. And we know the hadith, take advantage of 5 before 5. Your life before your death, your wealth before poverty, and your youth before getting old, your health before being sick, and the time that you have, the empty time that you're not too busy before you become too busy. Take advantage of your health before your sickness. Because when you became sick, you became weak, and it became hard for you to do many of the good deeds that you used to do when you are young and healthy. And sahih, this is very true. Like, remember when we were in younger age, we were able to do things that's hard to do. Even some sunnah in the salah, it is hard to do it today. Your back hurts, you can't do a long ruku or long sujood. Your knees hurts, you can't do the long qiyam. At least now we're healthy, alhamdulillah, take advantage. And now at least you can do a little bit of ruku'. Maybe there is a day when you cannot make ruku' at all. I remember an interview of somebody who's confined in a wheelchair, when he was asked, what's the thing that you wish to go back to do if Allah give you back your health back? He said to be able to make sujood, to be able to flip the pages of the Mus'haf. Maybe you have now aql, alhamdulillah, and sanity. You know what? Take advantage of it. Read and memorize the Quran and make dhikr before maybe you become too old and you lose that ability. This hadith, also one of the benefit, take advantage of your life before your death. Life is a chance for you to increase your good deeds. Life is a chance for you to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before you die and you couldn't repent. Because when your soul reach here, is about to be leaving and departing from the body, tawbah will not benefit you in that point, at that point. وَلَن يُؤَخِّرَ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِذَا جَاءَ أَجَلُهَا. Allah will not give you a chance, a second chance when your death comes. That's it. We will not delay your time if your time comes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَنفِقُوا. Give from what we have given you before death come to you. And you would say, Rabbi, my Lord, if you can delay me, أخرتني, just a little bit, فَأَصَّدَّقَ وَأَكُمْ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ. So I can give in charity and I become among the righteous. This hadith really encourage us to detach ourselves from the dunya as much as we can. There is somebody said something very interesting about dunya. قال الدنيا مثل الظل إذا طلبته فر وإن تركته تبعك. الدنيا is like shadow. If you try to run after your shadow, what will happen? Run away. You can't catch it. But if you leave it, it will follow you. And he said that's how dunya is, like that shadow. You run after it, or you never catch it. But if you leave it, it will follow you. Reminders is important. That's why it's important for us to remind one another of the akhirah and slow down in the dunya. Shib ibn Umar's young man, when the Nabi told him that. I think this is one of the benefits from this hadith, that we need to remind one of each other. We need this reminder that softens the heart. When was the last time some give you nasiha that bring tears to your eyes or shake your heart? Somebody give you nasiha, when you see someone so much into the dunya, he needs and she needs someone to come say, hey, you need to improve your relationship with the Quran, with the akhirah. Hey, you need to be better in this. When you know someone in your community, you knew someone from family member, the dunya have taken over their hearts or they're lacking in the good deeds, it is important for us to reach out and to give that reminder. Also, it's important to give reminder to the general public as well. Talking about this topic is important to individuals and to community at large. Haritha bint Hisham said, I did not memorize Surah Qaf except I memorized it from the Prophet ﷺ directly, Surah Qaf. Why? Because he used to recite it every Friday on the minbar, fi Sahih Muslim. The point is recited a lot on Friday, not necessarily every single Friday. Why? Because the Nabi focused on this reminder. And Surah Qaf is a great reminder in itself. When Allah talk about death and about resurrections and what will happen in it, and hellfire and paradise. there is one narration, stay in this dunya as if you're a traveler, okay? وَعْدُدْ نَفْسَكَ فِي الْمَوْتَى. Consider yourself one of the dead, because that's what will eventually happen. And in another narration that Ibn Umar used to say, وَمِنْ غِنَاكَ لِفَقْرِكَ. Take advantage of your wealth before your poverty, because you don't know what you will be called tomorrow. This hadith, one of the benefits, a lot of people think about zuhd and detachment to the dunya in relation to elders, while in Nabi Sallam giving this advice to a young man, which is Ibn Umar. So it's not true that az-zuhd and the concept of leaving the dunya and focusing on the akhirah, fits somebody like me, khalas, past he's more than 25 years, mashallah, or 35 years or 40 years. Somebody's laughing here. Khalas, this is the zuhd for you. No, Nabi talked to Ibn Umar and he was very young at that time. And so we talk about this concept with the young people as well. Also, one of the things from this hadith, how Nabi Sallam was gentle. And Nabi Sallam used this physical touch and physical closeness to deliver his message. So him putting his hands on Ibn Umar's shoulder, holding it, it means a lot. And sometimes we need that. But I will say, considering the culture, because in our culture, if I hold your hand, maybe somebody will feel this is like strange. Or anyway, we are living in a culture with physical touch is not something really is not part of the culture. But in that culture, it means a lot. So whatever we can do from our culture, which is something that shows attention, that you're giving that person attention and love and care. In Nabi Sallallahu, for example, many ahadith was reported when the Sahabi said, I was riding with the Prophet Sallallahu in the same camel or the mule. So Nabi Sallallahu will yardifu, he will let him ride behind him. Anas would say, or Abu Talha would say, I was riding and my feet touching the Prophet's feet while we are on the camel. It's something that they remember. It means a lot to them. Ibn Illan, in his Sharh Dalil al-Falihin for Riyadh al-Salihin, he said, I collected the people who said that they were riding with the Prophet and I found them more than 40 persons documented in the Sunnah. And he even has a collection, it's called Tuhfat al-Ashraf bi-Ma'rifat al-Ardaf, a collection of those who ride with the Prophet ﷺ in the same ride, camel or mule or so forth. Abiru Sabil, a traveler. Like what I said, the hotel. You check in and you check out. But this time you check out not by your choice. It's the angel of death who check you out from this dunya. It's important for the akhirah to be the goal, not the dunya. The dunya is the means, but the akhirah should be always the goal. You keep that in mind. The hadith also has a good lesson that always prepare, you hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. That's why we hope to stay healthy. We hope to live long. We hope to stay rich. But we have to plan for sickness. We have to plan for, and that should be a live lesson. Don't just, let these false hopes deceive you. You always, this is a great lesson from this hadith. You hope for the best, but you always prepare for the worst. Another thing that we can learn from this hadith, النبي قال عش في الدنيا كأنك غريب. You will live in this dunya as if you're a stranger or a traveler, kind of don't belong. Sometimes I found my brothers and sisters, those who follow the sunnah and those who follow the dunya, they might feel at one point that they're a stranger, out of place. And the more we live, especially in these modern days, the more this concept became so alien. And the more is not common. And the more you hear, nobody doing this. Everybody doing the opposite. You hear this a lot. And the reason for this, simple. Because, you know what? that's the reality. The reality is that the people, their heart attached to the dunya are the vast majority. And those who attach to the akhirah are the very few. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those few and among those who their heart attached to the akhirah and not to the dunya. And next week, inshallah, we'll continue our discussion. We'll see if we have any questions from the Facebook or the YouTube. Do you have any questions, Kahari? Good. Until he read the question to go over them, I just want to say to those who living in the area where the pandemic is growing fast and strong, just make sure that you stay safe in this 4th of July weekend and keep your mask on and make sure that you keep your social distance, especially Florida, Texas, Arizona, and the South. This will be something very important. And any place where this pandemic is still very aggressive is to be very careful with it. Let me see before we call it off, just 1 second. Just log on to see what is comments. Let me see before we call it off, just 1 second. Okay, Jazakallah khair. Yes, the hotel example is a good example. Yeah, Hani, Jazakallah khair. Thank you. Barakallah fiki Hani and Isam, Samara, Nasir, Ahmed Nasir, Barakallahu fik. Nancy, Jazakallah khair. Isam, you have a question? What is it? Okay, and who's else we have? Roswana. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair, Bakr, Shafiqa Bakr, for basically posting the hadith and writing it. Okay, so I'm asking how Shaitan was able to whisper to Adam, and Adam in Jannah, and Shaitan was on earth. There is no proof that a Shaitan was on earth. First of all, there is no proof that the Shaitan was on earth. The Shaitan was not allowed to enter Jannah. But even not entering physically will not means that the shaitan cannot whisper. Shaitan has abilities that we don't know. So the problem always comes with this kind of a hadith when it comes to the things that are out of our normal worldly life system that we're familiar with, that we always expect the other side and the world of the unseen have the same rule of us. That's not true. For instance, a shaitan can whisper to many people in different places while he's one. Shaitan knows to know what's in your heart and your feeling, and even he can run through your veins. It's a different abilities that we're not familiar with how shaitan function, how he able to communicate. So since we have the lack of that knowledge, we don't know how he whispered to Adam or talked to Adam. We don't know how, because we don't know how the shaitan is and how the jinn are and how they talk. And because we don't know how they talk and how they communicate, we will not be able to know. We know that he did, and we know for sure he did. Why? Because Allah told us that. But Allah never told us how. This is something that is beyond our ability to figure it out, because we don't see jinn. We didn't know about the shaitan. We didn't We don't know how they communicate and how they talk or whisper to people. So this question is irrelevant, really, and it does not contradict the fact that he is not in Jannah, because he still can communicate with Adam even without entering Jannah. Logically, that's possible. How? We don't know. You can think of many different ways I can communicate with you without getting into your house today. I'm now communicating with you and talking to you without being in your house. You see? So this is in a simple life like us today. With this, our knowledge is very limited and abilities, versus the world of the unseen, and was related to the story of Adam and Al-Jannah and so forth. And even Al-Jannah that Adam was in it, there is debate between scholars if it is Al-Jannah, that one in paradise, or it is part of Jannah in paradise, or it is a Jannah similar to the one that the people enter in the Day of Judgment, but it was on earth. And Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah supported the idea that it was on earth. I don't agree with that. I think that it is on the heavens, and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Allah send them down from it to earth, Adam and Eve. Anyway, Jazakum Allah khair. Thank you all. I love you too in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ahmad and Musa, Jazakallah khair. What's the best way of reciting Quran? I don't know what you mean best way, but I will highly recommend you recite the Quran by listening to a qari and learning from a sheikh that teach you how to recite. And I don't feel, I feel very comfortable to recommend for you, if you're struggling with how to recite, or if you couldn't find local sheikh to study with, we do have in Al-Maghrib a very nice, very successful program. It's called Quran Revolution, where you can have a teacher teach you how to read, and you read to the person, you record it, they give you feedback, and you progress. And I've seen a lot of people progress through that program. Jazakumullahu khairan, all of you. Finally, Brother Muhammad, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.